Hello and welcome to the Val di Fassa Trentino round of the Enduro World Cup in the beautiful Italian Alps, one of the most spectacular locations you'll see on the entire series this year. Stages are epic, vibes are high, and I'm joined by the one and only Rhys Verner from the Forbidden Synthesis team. Mate, epic result last weekend, that debut win, that must feel good.
Yeah, no kidding. It was pretty awesome, especially after last weekend, or the previous weekend in Pietra. That was like my first podium, and then to back it up with the first win was kind of incredible. So I'm buzzing.
And you've been building all season. I mean, you had a fantastic start in Tasmania.
Yeah.
Those two races, we had Pietra, and then finally to crack that top step of the podium. Was there pieces of the puzzle that you felt like were building, or it just clicked on the day?
I mean, it definitely seems like it's happened fast, especially this year, but I mean, I've been racing my whole life. Like, there's been a lot of build up to this, a lot of hours behind the scenes, so it's kind of like, I knew it could happen, but actually doing it is a whole nother thing.
And the Val di Fassa Trentino race here, you've had a great result last year with 8th. You've been here for the last 3 years, almost. Do you like this place? Is this one of your favorite venues of the season?
It's definitely my favorite, like, scenic venue. Like, the mountains here are incredible. I wish we had another week just to like hike around and stuff. The trails are really cool, like similar to home, but a bit more janky, I guess, like harder with a lot more roots exposed. But I really do like it, and especially the long stages, I think. That's kind of screams enduro to me.
Well, speaking of stages, let's get stuck in. This is the course preview for the Val di Fassa Trentino round here. Stage 1, Titans. It's a monster. It's long. There's so many varied sections of that trail.
Yeah, no kidding.
Talk me through that.
Yeah, so they started us up higher. Last year was the first year they did that. Kind of starts with like kind of grassy and a bunch of grass turns.
Which are super loose.
Super loose. Like,
super loose. Oh my goodness.
It's really gnarly. I think just up top, you really just got to take your time, breathe, don't try and rush it, because if you overcook one of those turns, you're going to throw so much time away.
So it talks more about patience. You want to save it for the woods.
I think so, and it's such a long stage. Like, if you really attack that entire stage, you're going to make just tons of mistakes.
And what are you looking for as we get into the trees? So we do all the top turns, we get into the trees, and we start to get into the steep and deep and loam. Are you chasing corner speed, chasing momentum, chasing like just constant average speed?
I'd say average speed is going to be key on that one. Like, there's kind of a ton of variation in the corners. Like, some are really good, some are, you got to check up to some insides. Just trying to get into a flow. Like, if you feel like you're really rushing that stage, you're going to make so many mistakes. So many. I think just like get into a flow and like get your rhythm, like hit break points, and obviously exit speed is super important. And there's a few key corners where there's a climb after something janky. Like, those corners are really important. A lot of this stuff up top is pretty steep, so if you do dab a corner there, it's not the end of the world. You're back up to speed quick.
True story. And that's just stage 1.
That's just stage 1. It's a whole race in itself. So
whole race in itself. We carry on to stage 2, Infinity. Probably one of the longest stages we have, and it's maybe a little bit longer than Titans, but probably just as physical, really.
Even more so. Infinity really lives up to the name. I think it starts right in the Alpine, like sheer rock, just full flat out. And then it gets into the woods and like pretty mellow, like not mellow, but just good corners.
Not mellow,
but yeah, then there's a monster climb on that stage, like really hard. It's probably at least a minute and a half, and it's so gradual. Like, it's.
And what are you doing there? Are you planning for that? Are you starting to think about that climb, or are you just going to come in hot and hope for the best?
I think you got to try and conserve it a little bit, but like, no matter what you do, it's going to be brutal. Like, if you come in fresh, you probably made a mistake up high and got too slow. No matter what, when you finish the climb, you're going to be cooked. So I think just like try and ride 80-90% up top, and then the climb starts gradual. Like, it's kind of
and then it ramps.
And then it ramps. Like, the top is just brutal. So I don't know, I almost, like, I didn't ride it that fast in practice because I don't want to know how hard it's going to be.
Just
like,
figure it out for race day.
Just be totally blind.
And once you're over that climb, it's just all the berries all the way to the finish.
I mean, it's still kind of flat for a bit, but then once you're finished that kind of climby pedally section, there's not much left. As far as climbing.
It's quite niggly and quite twisty and loamy down the bottom there, doesn't it?
I think after that, it's just kind of get your flow back, get your breathing under control, and just flow to the bottom. But it is a really long one. So
it's a very long one. That's 2 big ones to start. Titans, Infinity, straight back up the Gondi. Well, it's a slight pedal back up to stage 3, electric line.
Electric line.
It's not really getting any easier.
No, they're all long. Like, I think this will be the most race time we have all year by far.
There's a lot of line selection on electric line. Is that more crucial? I feel like that one's got a bunch of big lines that you need to find the right niggle through those rocks.
I think so, but it's almost easier on that one because they're so specific. Like, if you miss the line, you can't even ride it. So you like hike back up, get the line. There's like maybe 5 key lines on that track. Where Titans has like 50. So like you can't remember 50 lines, or like Tutti Frutti has like 100.
Yeah, yeah.
So like electric line has 5 kind of crucial ones that you'll know are there and you practiced.
Yep.
And then once you kind of get them, they're not too bad, but you do want to know where you're going.
Yeah. And are you looking for key points? Like you said, there's so many lines. What are your triggers? What are you looking for on these things? Is it like a certain, you pop out into the open and then look for a certain rock and you're like, all right, this next section, I need to hit my corners?
Yeah, it kind of depends where it is. Like some have like a padded tree or there's like a weird right or some rock, like some trigger to let you know. But I mean, for me, always the most important lines are the ones with uphills after or flat after. Like,
so you're looking for exit speed. You're looking for that next section.
Like I get less hung up on like a crazy shoot with like a bunch of rutted turns than I do like a really awkward corner followed by a climb.
Right.
Because I think like that really is where the time comes from.
Yeah.
And a lot of those times like you don't really have to risk that much to get the speed. You just like, need to know the line and break early.
True story. And speaking of time, Tutti Frutti, the big dog, stage 4, all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Almost all the way back down to the bottom. I mean, it feels like these stages are building. They're getting bigger and physical and gnarlier and faster in Tutti Frutti.
Yeah.
Where's the time made on that one?
I think just towards the bottom and like kind of middle section.
So you got the big long ridge line at the top. There's a real lumpy and flowy in the middle.
Yeah, I think up there it's like kind of just carry speed. Like you don't really have to brake too much, and then until you get to these really tight turns, and then just like try to be smooth. But the bottom where it's like, they're like skinny corners, like this much, this high and like loam. So just trying to like flow and not unclip on everything and just saving a bit of energy for your arms, I think will be key.
Are you attacking?
I think you have to.
You have to.
There's not much standing around. Like even when you say you want to chill, like.
And we're probably talking about 12 minutes. That's a
probably,
12-minute stage.
Yeah.
Maybe
we've probably already
shorter.
done like 20 minutes by this point as well. So
that's a lot.
The kind of rule of thumb I've been playing with this year is if you don't make at least one mistake a stage, you've gone too chill and you're probably not going to be rewarded. So
that's a pretty good rule of thumb so far.
You really want to toe the line between like going too hard and like going crazy enough there where you're going to fall. But
it's quite a swing from stage 4 Tutti Frutti back to stage 5, your final stage, Ciasetti's. It's short, it's sharp, it's punchy, it's physical.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just you throw everything you have left at that final stage, or is it more like you see what position you're in and you got to play your cards appropriately?
Yeah, I think now that it's dry, you kind of got to attack.
You just got to send it.
Like in practice, it was quite wet, so like then it was like, okay, you could really risk it here to save a quarter second. Yeah. But now that it's dry, I think kind of all the lines are on.
Yeah.
I mean, see where you're at. If you are like solidly in a position, like 20 seconds either way, then I don't know, maybe you can afford to just have a comfortable rundown.
Yeah.
If it's anything like last week where Richie and I were 2 seconds apart, like
you're into
you have to go for it.
2 seconds is nothing on a stage like that.
It was a terrifying spot to be in.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's different for other people, but I would way rather crash and going for it than like have a chill run and then like slip out anyways.
Yeah, exactly right.
So I think like, and often when you try and go chill, you crash.
Yeah.
So you might as well just go hard. Like,
are you worried about the physical nature of all these stages, these 5 stages back to back and being so long? Are you concerned about that? Is it something you're going to think about?
I mean, it's there for everybody. Like I don't know, I kind of trust my fitness and I think it's going to be brutal and it's going to be really hard, but it's the same for everybody. So.
And what about bike setup? It's a reasonably similar theme. Similar feel per stage. You're going to change something in particular on your bike, on your tire pressure, settings?
I think we just rode Titans now, and I think I might add a click of high speed for that. Okay. It's a bit steeper with more holes, I think, where a lot of, like Tutti Frutti especially had a lot of flat turns, so I didn't want as much compression to get over the front.
Okay.
But Titans has like a lot of holes, and like it really broke down.
So you want a bit more support so it doesn't just blow all the way through.
A little bit more, and especially towards the bottom, it gets really physical. So I think maybe play around with high speed and low speed a little bit, but tire pressure I'll keep the same.
Changing tire pattern, you're going to go to something more aggressive or just
the same? Like I kind of run the same all the time. Okay. I don't like to change too much because you kind of want to race what you practice.
If that's what you know and that's what you trust, that's what you run, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Awesome. Well, what an epic race. We've got 5 stages, 41 kilometers, 2,800 meters of descending and about 1,200 meters of climbing, which I'm pretty sure Rhys thinks is majority in stage 2 up that big old climb. Proper day in the Val di Fassa Trentino region. The E-Enduro World Cup is also here. We've got 8 stages. So we repeat Ciasetti's Enduro World Cup stage 5. We do that twice. And we also have 2 uphill stages throughout the whole day. So we have about 49 kilometers of racing, 3,100 meters of vertical descending, and about 1,800 to 1,900 worth of climbing. So we are taking advantage of the gondolas here in the Val di Fassa Trentino region. It's going to be an epic race weekend. Rhys, thank you very much for joining me. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will see you trackside. Make sure you stay tuned to the UCI Mountain Bike World Series YouTube page, social media channels for all the updates, and we'll see you Sunday.